FIFA made over $1.3 billion from the 2022 World Cup alone. But here's the part they don't put in the press release. The players who made that tournament, they saw almost none of it. The countries that hosted previous tournaments, some of them are still in debt. And the fans? They paid more than ever for tickets, merchandise, and streaming, while FIFA sat on billions in reserves. This isn't just a sports story, this is a money story. And once you see how it works, you can't unsee it. Let's start from the beginning. FIFA, that stands for Fédération Internationale de Football Association, is basically the governing body of world football. Think of them like the NFL, the NBA, and the Olympics all rolled into one, except they don't answer to any government. They're a private organization based in Zurich, Switzerland, and they have a product that literally half the world stops to watch every 4 years. That product is the FIFA World Cup, and the World Cup is, without exaggeration, the most watched sporting event on the planet. The 2022 tournament in Qatar drew over 5 billion viewers. More than half the people alive on Earth tuned in at some point. The Super Bowl? Around 100 million. The World Cup final alone pulled in over 1.5 billion viewers worldwide. When you have that kind of attention, money follows. Enormous, almost unimaginable amounts of money. So how does FIFA actually make it? The biggest source is TV rights, broadcast deals. Basically, every country in the world wants to show the World Cup on their television networks, and FIFA charges them for that privilege. We're talking billions of dollars across deals with networks like Fox, BBC, beIN Sports, and hundreds more around the world. For the 2022 World Cup cycle, FIFA earned roughly $7.5 billion in total revenue. Of that, about 60% came from TV rights alone. Think about that. FIFA doesn't own a stadium. They don't pay player salaries. They don't build anything. They just own the rights to the tournament and then license those rights to whoever wants to show it. It's like if someone owned the rights to the Super Bowl but didn't have to run the NFL, just collect the check every 4 years. The second big revenue stream is sponsorship. FIFA has a small group of top-level corporate partners, companies like Adidas, Coca-Cola, Visa, Hyundai, and Qatar Airways, who pay massive fees just to put their logo next to the World Cup brand. These aren't just ad deals, they're exclusive partnerships. Being an official FIFA sponsor means your competitor can't be one. Visa pays so that MasterCard can't touch the tournament. Adidas pays so Nike doesn't get in. The exclusivity is the product, and companies pay hundreds of millions for it. Now, here's where it starts getting interesting. FIFA also makes money from something called hospitality packages. At the 2022 World Cup, regular fans were already paying a lot for tickets. Some group stage matches started around $100. A semi-final ticket could run you $600, $700, even more. But then there's another tier entirely. FIFA sold premium hospitality packages, think private suites, open bars, gourmet food, exclusive access, for prices that could reach tens of thousands of dollars per person for a single match. The World Cup final hospitality experience was reportedly selling for upwards of $20,000 per seat. Who's buying these? Corporations, executives, government officials? The kind of people who attend the World Cup not necessarily because they love football, but because being there is a status symbol and a business opportunity. FIFA gets a cut of all of it. Now let's talk about the part that really raises eyebrows: hosting the World Cup. Countries fight, genuinely compete, for the right to host this tournament. And on the surface, it sounds like a great deal. Your country on the world stage, billions in tourism, infrastructure investment. But the reality is far more complicated. Qatar spent an estimated $200 billion preparing for the 2022 World Cup. Let that sink in. $200 billion. That's more than every previous World Cup combined. New stadiums, new metro systems, an entirely new city was built from scratch. FIFA's contribution to Qatar's costs? Essentially zero. They received the prize money, Around $440 million distributed to competing teams, but the infrastructure costs, that's on the host country. Brazil spent around $15 billion for 2014. South Africa spent billions for 2010 and saw minimal long-term economic return. Several of the stadiums built for those tournaments are now barely used. One in South Africa became a tennis court, another in Brazil hosts local concerts. Meanwhile, FIFA walks away with billions every cycle, and the host absorbs the risk. And now for the part that almost nobody talks about, the players, the actual humans whose talent, skill, and bodies make the entire product possible. When clubs, meaning the professional teams players work for during the regular season, send their players to the World Cup, those players leave their clubs for weeks, sometimes over a month. The clubs still pay their salaries during this time. They absorb the injury risk. And if a player gets hurt at the World Cup, the club deals with the consequences all season. FIFA doesn't directly compensate clubs for this. There is a club benefits program, but it's widely considered inadequate compared to what clubs actually lose. The players themselves, the prize money distributed to national teams gets shared around squads of 26 players. Even on a World Cup winning team, individual players often receive far less than one game's worth of their club salary. The people who make the product get the smallest slice of the pie. Here's the full picture. FIFA sits at the center of a system that generates billions through TV rights, sponsorships, hospitality, and licensing, while the financial risk is pushed outward to host nations and the rewards flow upward away from the players. It's a structure that works brilliantly for FIFA. Whether it works for everyone else is a much harder question, and that question gets louder every World Cup. If this kind of deep dive into how football really works is something you want more of, subscribe, because there's a lot more to unpack, and most of it is just as surprising as this.